So when I was a little kid, I had the great blessing of growing up with one of those very special uncles, my Uncle Char. I think some of my best memories with him are things like him setting up all my stuffed animals on the sofa. And when I came home from school, surprise, I had an audience of stuffed animals and a wood cooking spoon as my microphone. He nicknamed me Child, so he was really more like a father to me in many ways. Oklahoma became my favorite musical as a kid because I watched it so many times with him. One of the things that was, I think, a confusing time was Char had moved to Arizona for a little while, and then my mom and my grandfather left on a trip to Arizona to go pick him up, and it was 1988, and I was told that he had a flu and that they were going to pick him up from a hospital. And Char did come back and stayed with us, and of course, as an adult, I understand now that that was sort of the beginnings of finding out that he had HIV.
Somewhere in the elfin forest, down a winding country road, in the northeastern corner of San Diego County, lies a house of miracles. Not a miracle in the metaphysical sense, but one no less wondrous. It is a place for healing, the purpose of its existence, perpetual grace.
The gay scene in San Diego in the 80s, early 80s, was, for me personally, it was a wonderful experience because it was like high school days all over again. It was every night of prom.
It was an awesome time in San Diego. I used to go down to Black's Beach, which is the nude beach here, and I would wear a bathing suit, but it was really fun.
I would go weeks, consecutive weeks in a row without probably encountering a single straight person. I mean, you could really do that in Hillcrest. And it was almost like this was the magical land that you know, over the rainbow that you always dreamed of when you were growing up. Like, wow, there's a place that I can just be ordinary and normal, whatever that means.
Sex, of course, was rampant. People were having a really good time.
It was free, it was fun, it was loving, it was just being who you wanted to be. San Diego is a very unusual place, even in California, in that we had 43 bars, restaurants, and places that were gay themed or gay oriented.
Finally, I found people that I could just completely be myself, share every part of myself, every feeling and memory, and sharing our coming out stories with each other. That was a new thing then, you know.
Once I discovered Hillcrest, it was like letting somebody loose in a candy shop because there was other people like me.
It was a bittersweet time. It was joyous in that I finally found my people, and at the same time, some of them were starting to get ill.
We started to find out about this disease that was being transmitted among gay men, and the mood definitely changed between 1981 and 1983.
People started to get sick and die around us, and quickly. All of a sudden somebody had scars on their body, or somebody had pneumonia, or somebody had some strange infection. And then 3 days later or a month later, they were dead.
I was working at Cabrillo Medical Center, which is no longer a hospital. And Brad Truax had, Dr. Brad Truax, he had privileges there. He was kind of known as one of a couple of gay doctors in the city who were willing to treat gay patients, because a lot of clinicians would not accept gay patients. And I started working for him part-time in the evening, 1983-84. And that was when we had just started learning about the thing that came to be known as AIDS.
So of course we didn't call it AIDS yet. We didn't know about HIV. It was the gay disease.
You know, this gay flu that nobody understood. And it was, at that time, it was called GRID, gay-related immune deficiency.
In the years from 84 to 87, we simply had a practice where almost everyone we saw we knew was going to die. And they were going to die soon, and they were going to die badly.
In 2001, during 9/11, I happened to live in New York City, and I lived directly across the river from all the terror that took place. And I witnessed the second plane flying in and the buildings falling down and ashes on my house and the smells and sounds of that experience. And that's the only thing that I can liken the AIDS epidemic to, because it was just like a Holocaust. Rained down death from wherever on all my friends and all our community, and from an unknown source. So it changed the tone of fun and freedom and Southern Cal and let's go to the beach to how do we survive? It was a time of survival.
I